The restaurant was all soft lighting and the quiet clink of crystal, a stage set for a moment that was supposed to define my happiness. Across the table, David, my fiancé of 2 years, reached for my hand. His smile was the one he used when closing a business deal, practiced, confident, and devoid of any real vulnerability. "Clara," he began, his thumb stroking my knuckles. "You are the most uncomplicated thing in my life." I felt my own smile tighten at the edges. Uncomplicated, it was a word he used often. A synonym, I had come to learn, for unimportant. "When I'm with you," he continued, "I don't have to think. It's peaceful, simple." He let go of my hand to pull a small, velvet box from his pocket. The diamond inside was large, cold, and perfect. It was exactly what a man like David was supposed to buy for the woman he was supposed to marry. "Be my wife," he said, not asked. "Let me take care of you. You can quit your little job at the flower shop. Just be my calm, my simple, beautiful Clara." The air left my lungs. My little job at the flower shop was how I put myself through business school. It was the front for my real work, the multi-million-dollar floral design and event planning empire I had built from the ground up, under a pseudonym, the Gilded Petal. David had no idea. He'd never asked. He was only ever interested in the quiet, uncomplicated girlfriend I presented to him. I looked at the ring, then at his face, so sure of my acquiescence. I saw our future laid out like a sterile blueprint, charity galas where I was armed candy, a pristine house I didn't design, a life where I was taken care of like a prized pet, my achievements, my fire, my complexity, all neatly packed away. The words left my lips, soft as a petal but sharp as a thorn. "No." David's smile didn't falter, it just froze. "What?" I said. "No, David." I pushed my chair back, standing. The other diners were starting to stare, but I didn't care. I am not simple, I am not uncomplicated. And I do not want to be your peaceful retreat from a world I am more than capable of conquering. I slid the ring box back across the tablecloth. "You don't want a partner, you want a portrait. And I refuse to be hung on your wall and forgotten." I walked out of the restaurant, the humid night air feeling like my first true breath in years. I didn't cry, I felt a terrifying, exhilarating clarity. The simple Clara was a persona I had created to survive a world that demanded too much. It was a persona David had fallen in love with, and it was a persona I had to kill. The first thing I did was change the name on the bank accounts, the business licenses, the property deeds. The Gilded Petal was no longer owned by the anonymous C. Jones, it was owned by Clara Montgomery. My little flower shop was a front for a reason. I loved the artistry, the beauty of creation. But the real empire was in logistics, in branding, in the ruthless, unsentimental world of high-stakes corporate event planning. I was the one companies like David called when they needed to impress a foreign delegation or launch a product that would make or break their stock price. He had been dining out for years on the success of the Starlight soiree I had orchestrated for his firm, never knowing it was my mind, my company, that had made him look like a visionary. I threw myself into my work with a ferocity I had been suppressing. I leased a stark, modern penthouse office with floor-to-ceiling windows that overlooked the city David's family had once dominated. I hired the best, not the most connected. I valued innovation, not pedigree. Weeks turned into months. I heard whispers, of course. David was telling everyone I had a breakdown, that I was unstable, that he was worried about me. He was trying to pathologize my rejection, to frame my ambition as a symptom of hysteria. The breaking point came when my head of security showed me an email. It was from David's father, a titan of old money, to his golf buddies. "Don't worry about Clara Montgomery," it read. "She's just playing businesswoman. It's a cute phase. She come crawling back when her flower money runs out. Girls like her need a man to handle the real world. Girls like me." I stared at the email, my hands clasped tightly on my glass desk, just as they were in the peaceful park photo I used for my corporate profile. The calm exterior, a weapon. I smiled. It was time for the world to meet the real Clara Montgomery. The city's annual economic summit was the most coveted event of the season, and for the first time, David's father's company was not the lead sponsor. The gilded pedal was, and I was the keynote speaker. The day of the summit, I stood backstage, wearing a custom-tailored cream suit, my hair in a severe, elegant bun. I could see David and his father in the front row, their expressions a mixture of confusion and dawning horror as they saw my name and company logo projected on the massive screen. I walked onto the stage to a polite smattering of applause. I stood at the podium, clasped my hands, and gave the audience my warmest, most inviting smile. "Good morning," I began, my voice clear and steady. "My name is Clara Montgomery. Many of you know my company, The Gilded Pedal. Some of you," I let my gaze rest for a fraction of a second on the front row, "knew me as Clara, the simple girl from the flower shop." I paused, letting the silence hang. My ex-fiancé once told me I was the most uncomplicated thing in his life. He meant it as a compliment. I smiled again, a sharp, beautiful thing. He was wrong. There is nothing simple about building a $50 million enterprise from a single seed of an idea. There is nothing uncomplicated about managing a global supply chain, outmaneuvering corporate giants for contracts, or turning down a marriage proposal. Because you know your own worth is greater than any diamond. The room was utterly silent. David had gone pale. "I am here today to talk about the future of business," I continued, my eyes sweeping the captivated audience. "A future that has no room for men who see ambition in women as a phase, or complexity as a flaw. The future is not built by those who seek simple things. It is built by those who are not afraid to get their hands dirty in the rich, complicated, and beautiful soil of innovation." The applause that followed was thunderous. I had not just given a speech, I had issued a declaration of war and a coronation, all in one. As I stepped off the stage, David was waiting for me, his face a storm of humiliation and rage. You lied to me," he spat. I looked at him, the man who had wanted a simple wife, and I finally felt nothing at all. "No, David," I said calmly. "You just never bothered to look beyond the surface. You wanted a still pond. You never realized you were standing next to an ocean." I walked away, leaving him standing there, a small, insignificant man in the wake of the empire he had foolishly inspired.